I think we're about set to begin. Just for those who don't know who I am, the last 18 years I've had the honor and privilege of being the radio voice of the Golden State Warriors. My name is Tim Roy, and we thank everybody in attendance today. We have a great announcement today, the acquisition of an NBA All-Star and gold medal winner. We'll get to that in a moment. I want to introduce some people first. I want to say hello to all of our fans and future Warriors here playing at the Warriors basketball camp today. Welcome, and we appreciate your cooperation today. Hello, hi. So thank you for being here today. Down in front, we have a few special guests we want to introduce right here at the beginning. We have Mr. Andre Iguodala II, who is here. Welcome. How are you today? He gets the best dressed award today, I think, today. He gets that. A nice ensemble there. Next to him is his mom and Andre's girlfriend, Christina Gutierrez. Welcome, Christina. Andre's cousin, Terrence Lawson, right next door. And Andre's agent, Rob Pelinka, is here as well. Welcome, Rob. Two down to my left, the general manager of the Golden State Warriors, Bob Myers, is here. And now I have the pleasure of announcing to you the newest Golden State Warrior, Andre Iguodala. If you don't know, as I mentioned before, he's an NBA All-Star, a gold medal winner on Team USA. He's an all-defensive player, and we are just thrilled to have him here as a member of the Golden State Warriors. And Andre, I wanted to ask you a question. A player of your caliber has options. You have people calling you and say, come play with us. Why here? Why are you a member of the Golden State Warriors?
Well, first of all, I want to thank the people who kind of made this happen, which was, it seemed like it wasn't going to happen for a second there, but Bob did a great job of working with some things with Rob, and at one point, I think it was Wednesday night, we didn't think it would happen, and then it kind of just the next morning, 9 hours later, 50 phone calls in between the two kind of came through. But Peter did a great job of being involved, and Joe was excellent. He came to the meeting, I met with him, we spoke their vision for what they want to do with this franchise. And 2 years ago, it was, they haven't been here too long. NBA years is kind of like you're still in infant stages of ownership and what they've done to change things around. And Coach Jackson, just playing up against him, I can see his presence that he has on his players while they're playing on the court. And then, I guess it was good to play here in the playoffs because I kind of got a feel for the fans and, how ecstatic they are and how much support they give their team. All those things kind of played a huge part into my decision to come here.
I want to remind people that we are streaming live on Warriors.com as well as CSN Bay Area. We're live there as well, and we welcome those audiences here to our little get-together. Andre, what did you learn during the postseason and in that series? I don't mean to bring up a bad memory for you, but it was a pretty good memory around here. But what did you learn about the Warriors in that series?
I think it was Game 6. We were down a bunch, and we kind of made a run. I kind of got hot, and I could just feel the crowd. Like, I was feeding off them. Even though I was on the opposing team, I kind of just, the energy they were giving, I kind of fed off that. And I didn't really think about it at all until, a month or two later, they really are starting something big. And just watching them play against the San Antonio Spurs, and the Spurs pretty much swept every team in the Western Conference. They had 2 close games against Memphis. They pulled out, but no one really gave them problems in the playoffs except for the Warriors. And I think they were missing one piece, and hopefully, I can be that piece to, get the team to where we all want to be, which is try to win a championship.
Bob, let me ask you, in your vision, what does Andre bring to the table for this franchise?
A lot. This moment that we're experiencing right now, this was a lesson in perseverance, Tim. I mean, Rob Pelinka, who I've known Andre's agent for 15 years, he didn't let me give up on this pursuit of Andre. So this one took a lot of work, took a lot of energy. 4th of July was a 15, 16-hour day. It wasn't your typical barbecue. It was being on the phone, and I apologize to Andre's agent for talking to him 10 times that day, but we worked very hard, and the reason, Tim, that we put in all that work was to get a player of Andre's caliber. We feel like he's the missing piece of the puzzle for this team. Versatile player, playmaker. It's very hard to find playmakers in the NBA, guys that can make the game easier for their teammates. Finishes at the rim, I think second only to LeBron as far as finishing around the basket percentage. And look, it's a thrill. There's an element of this whole day that is surreal. To have a guy like this join a team that has been able to keep its core together, and then add somebody of his caliber. Not only his ability as an athlete, but who he is. I think as the media and the fans get to know Andre, one of the best people you'll meet, well respected throughout the NBA, community guy, man of faith, and that you don't find players like this. You just don't find players like this, and you actually don't find too many people like Andre. So we're absolutely thrilled.
Now, I know that you have other work that's going on. We were not able to comment on that because it's not official, but Andre alluded to all the work that you were doing. And was there a moment where you thought this was not going to happen? Was there like a moment of panic maybe somewhere?
Well, there's about 25 of those. I would walk into the house, and I'd tell my wife, I'd say, this isn't happening. We can't get Iguodala. We can't do it. There's no way to do it. And she'd look at me, and she said, you said the same thing 2 hours ago. And I said, but it's so rare, and we haven't touched on this. Andre wanted to come play for us. And he was sitting out there, and we just couldn't get it done. Not for lack of effort. I mean, this was one of the hardest things I've ever worked on in the NBA, getting this deal through. But yeah, this thing was on life support 15 times. And because I've known Rob, his agent, so well, I felt a responsibility to Rob to let him know numerous times, this may not happen. So don't let go of the other options you have. I can't promise you this is going to happen. And to give him credit, he gave me more belief that this could happen than I even had. And I have to give credit to Joe Lacob and ownership for giving us confidence, and Travis Schlenk and Kirk Lacob and all the people that worked on it. We chose a job where holidays don't really exist. So this one was a lot of hard work, but we are absolutely ecstatic at what we were able to accomplish in getting a player like Andre.
Yeah, it's a job well done, and you mentioned it's a complete collaborative effort. Andre, I know you've played with some very talented people in your career, college and pro, but when you look at this roster, what comes to mind?
Just a batch of hungry basketball players. I don't think you find a group of guys, who are great basketball players, but great people as well. And, some may not realize this, but the type of person you are, it plays a huge effect on the type of basketball you play and the type of basketball you play with your teammates. So when you talk about Harrison Barnes, who I've known him since he was in high school, there's a story about Harrison. I was playing basketball with him in the gym, and I guess he didn't know who I was, so he asked me what I did. I told him I was an agent. And he was like, really, you're an agent? Why are you playing with us? I'm like, I'm just trying to get in shape. His mom's right behind him like, you goofball? Like, he's not an agent. So I've been knowing Harrison for a while. He's a great guy, hard worker. Like, I'm really excited to play with him because he just enjoys playing the game, and he's going to be a great talent in this league for 10-plus years. With Klay Thompson guarding him, knowing how lethal he can shoot the ball and how he's going to spread the floor. And the two smartest bigs in the league with David Lee and with Bogut, and those guys just knowing how to play basketball. And then, Steph Curry is like the second coming of Jesus Christ. He's like the most loved man on earth right now. So just playing with those guys and just knowing what I could bring to the table to help them be better players, and they're going to definitely help me become a better player because of the things they do around what I do. It just fits so well.
I think you're going to have a real good year assist-wise. I think
Yes.
you're going to get
Yes.
some assists. Bob, you mentioned you had to get two other teams involved, and that had to add a little bit to the tricky component of this.
I'm still tired. Like I said, if you would have asked me, I think I did a short media availability before the draft, and was asked, what do you plan on doing in free agency? And we look at our financial picture and our roster, Tim, and you don't see much flexibility there. And even going back to talking to Rob, and he said, what do you think of Andre? And I said, I think he's fantastic, but we have no money, we have no room. I don't see a way to get him. Don't tease me with a player like Andre Iguodala. I mean, I don't see how we can accomplish that. But we displayed a lot of fortitude and put a lot of time and energy into it. And it's just one of those things where we focused on it and were able to accomplish it. And but very unlikely scenario that it actually played out for us.
Okay, we have media members in attendance. We have microphones for you. Please raise your hand if you have a question for either Andre or Bob. And I know most of the media members here, but not all. So if you would please say your name and your affiliation when you ask your question. And Denny Martinez has microphones as well on this side as well. So raise your hand if you have a question for either one of the gentlemen up here. I'm going to ask Andre a question then while you're thinking of one. Andre, when you talk about a team coming together, and you've been on teams that obviously been in the playoffs, what do you think is a key for this Golden State team moving forward to capitalize on last year's success?
Just continue to grow as players. They have a lot of young guys. It might have been their first time having that playoff experience, so it was good to see them. It was good for them to go out the first round and get out the first round and go up against a team like the San Antonio Spurs, who are probably one of the most calculated teams in the league as far as the way they run their sets and their offense, the way they work together and kind of play together as a unit. You need that in this league to win. There's only one LeBron. There's only one Kobe. There aren't too many guys who can kind of control the game by themselves. Outside of that, you have to come together as a unit and kind of hold strong. And defensively, you have to be tough. And I think that's something that I'll try to bring to the table and kind of have rub off on the other guys. I thought I did that last year. So another trend that I'll continue to try to build with the team.
Bob, what is head coach Mark Jackson's reaction to all of this?
He's not happy at all. Well, he's a smart guy, so he realizes we got better. And look, the name of the game, Tim, in all this is it's winning. And this man sitting to my right will help us win basketball games. And really, that's the bottom line. It's just bonus that he's such a high character person and fits a piece. We go to bed in the front office every night thinking about looking at a puzzle and how it all fits. And we felt a piece that was missing in the playmaking, ball handling area, and those guys are very hard to find. And so for us to be able to pick up that piece and put it in the puzzle, just a huge, huge thing. And the last thing I'll say, Tim, is this organization, it's a credit to Joe Lacob, Peter Guber, the ownership group, to have built an organization where a player like Andre wanted to come play for us. And it wasn't because we blew him away financially. He had a lot of great options, but he wanted to come here. That's a great step for this organization.
No question about it. We have a question from the media down here.
Marcus Thompson, Barry News Group. Andre, this is a team that made the playoffs and went to the second round of the postseason. Now with you in the mix, what is the goal for this team since playoffs is kind of expected?
Well, I think the goal is the same every year. I think everybody's goal is to win a championship, whether it's realistic or not. So that's going to be our goal, is taking a step to get closer and closer to get there. We've talked about our roster, some of the new acquisitions that have been in the mix that we've heard about. They'll be solidified in the next couple days, bringing those guys in. We have a solid group. It's going to take us some time to come together, but the great part about this team is that the core is still there. You have a core group of guys who did a bulk of the work last year to get to that second round, so it shouldn't take as long. So we're just trying to get there, to the finals. Not making no promises, anything like that, but that's our goal. That's what everybody in the NBA wants to accomplish.
We have a question down here to my right.
Sure, Monty Poole, Bay Area News Group. Andre, you are known as a well-rounded player, play both ends of the court. Tell us which part of your game do you enjoy the most? Passing, defending, shooting? What is it that you enjoy the most?
Well, I think my game kind of fits my personality, especially with my humor. You know, I'm kind of have a dry humor. Some of my favorite shows are Curb Your Enthusiasm. Christina got me on that. Big Bang Theory. Kind of those dry humor shows that kind of sneaks up on you with the humor. Same thing with my game, you know, just having a huge impact. It may not show up on the stat sheet, but if you watch the game again, you'll see it. Should be a lot of 12, 11 nights, you know, being able to distribute to our great shooters. You know, with Harrison, we have a guy who can throw lobs and he can shoot the ball as well. We can go big unit, we can go smaller lineup. So on the offensive end, just my presence felt, even though it may not show up on the, you know, on the scoring column, it'd be huge. And defensively, you know, I used to always joke with my coaches, you know, I can play defense in my sleep. So I'm going to try to bring that presence to the team, and you know, we're going to get stops last 5 minutes of the game when it's most important.
I'm sensing a guest shot on Big Bang Theory. Let's go down here. Yes.
Ron Krychek from the San Francisco Chronicle. Bob, a couple times you've mentioned that Andre wanted to come here, and you sort of seemed surprised. Were you surprised, and how significant a breakthrough is that? Because as we all know, for many years, people didn't want to come here.
Yeah, Ron, it's interesting because we've always had a healthy admiration for Andre and his game, and also playing up against him. And he arguably, maybe not even arguably, was the best player for his team in the playoff series. So we saw who he was. We got to know him a little bit off the court. Like I said, I've known his representative a long time. And when you're around the NBA a lot, people build reputations, especially somebody that's been in the league a while, and you'd constantly hear how great of a person this was. So when free agency began, or close to it, spoke to his agent, Rob, and he said, like I said, what do you think about Andre? I said, well, I think he's fantastic. He said, why don't we get together and talk? So myself, Joe Lacob, Kirk Lacob, and Mark Jackson went to meet with him, and we sat down in Rob's offices, and we said, we appreciate you inviting us, and kind of looked over at Andre, and before we could say too much, he was telling us how much he admired our team and how much he admired our coach and our players, and we kind of looked at each other and we said, well, do you want us to, do we have to sell you on anything? And he said, look, I mean, I feel like this is a place I'd love to play. And that moment, I think, was a transformative moment for our franchise, to sit across from an elite player who had many options, numerous options in free agency, and to hear him say, you are part of an organization that I want to be a part of. You guys are building something that I want to be a part of. And whether he would have come or not, Ron, and we're happy that it came to fruition, that moment for us as an organization was a big one. And it was obviously genuine. He wasn't looking at us seeing $20 million in cap space and I'm going to get these guys to pay me. He was looking at a team that was financially strapped with arguably no way to get him and saying, I'd like to come play for you. And that motivated us as an organization. We said, this is the guy that's a great player, great person that wants to play for us. Now we have to go figure out how to get this done.
Another question?
Bob over here, Mindy Bach from Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Can you tell us when that first meeting took place? And then Andre, for you, when did you first notice the Warriors were a team that you wanted to join, and how many other teams were you seriously looking at during free agency?
We met with him, Mindy, the first day of free agency, which was July 1st at, 2, 3 o'clock in the day. Pretty quick in the process.
It's actually kind of funny because when I was playing in Philly, there were a few trade rumors out there, and this was one of the places. And my agent and I spoke about, Golden State, and it was up and coming. And this was, during one of the struggle years. So we were looking at it, and we saw the new ownership, and we saw I'm really into life after basketball and some of my business ventures that I want to get into, and we kind of looked at this place being a perfect fit on and off the court. So we have been looking into it for a couple years now. And Mark Jackson, I was recruiting him possibly as a coach in Philly, so that background was there. A lot of things happened in the past that kind of, led me here. And just the team and the season they had this year, seeing where it could go and how I can fit in, it all started making more and more sense as I started doing more and more research.
Another question, Ron?
This is for Andre. How much, when Bob talks about you saying you wanted to be here, how much of that comes from Steph Curry? I know you played with him in 2010 on the World Championship team. Can you speak a little bit to maybe any insight you got into the organization through your relationship with him?
Yeah, Steph and I played together in 2010 in Turkey, and after practice we would come back to the gym at night when we were overseas and just getting some shots up. I believe it was Kevin Durant was with us a lot of the time, so it was us three, maybe one or two other guys, but us three were always together, and kind of got a chance to see him work. He got a chance to see me work. Knew how in love he was with the game. So we built a pretty good relationship. We had chapels together before every game, so we definitely got to know each other as well during chapels, and just all a great guy. We ended up playing against him, and not only just him, but some of the other guys they have. I've always been a fan of Bogut. I've always been a fan of high IQ big men, and there are two excellent guys here, and then you have another young guy in Festus who really wants to improve and get better, and he's Nigerian as well. Got a chance to speak to him in Denver during the playoff series, so I know these guys too well. I don't know why.
So I think I have a question from the 100 adjunct media members who are sitting here from the Warriors basketball camp. They want to know what they have to do to become better basketball players and to reach their full potential. What would you tell them?
I kind of tell my son this. Don't play basketball just because you might be able to buy a nice car, you might be able to buy all the basketball shoes you want. Play basketball because you enjoy playing the game. So first things first, you got to have a love for the game, and you got to have a passion for the game. That comes before anything. And if you have that passion, it's easy to make 200 shots. Little Andre and I try to make 100 shots a few times a week. You got to 70 last week, I think, right? You made 70 shots outside. So I'm trying to get him to 100, but he enjoys to play the game, and that's where it starts. You build that foundation of love, and the rest is it makes it easier to work harder, play through injuries, things like that.
All right. Any final questions? We're going to move on to our next part. We're going to have group interviews here in a minute with both Andre and Bob, but I want to introduce Asia Knox, who's one of our campers today, and is going to come up. And a sweet sight indeed. The number 9 jersey for Andre. That's pretty good. We're going to have for the photo op here. You guys can get your pictures. And there's your newest Golden State Warriors, ladies and gentlemen.